Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Today's topic is box plot. Box plot is basically a graphical representation of our data. So we have so many graphs, so many charts in the statistics to represent our data, but the box plot has a specific importance in the statistics, although it is a very small topic and small concept, but it has a significant meaning and significant explanation of the statistics. इसको समझने के लिए we have some 4 points basically, and we will discuss that what is the box plot. Number one, it is also called the box and whisker diagram. So another name available in the literature is called the box and whisker diagram. So we can easily find that if there is some written as the box and whisker diagram, the same as that the box plot. So what is the other thing is that the graphical display of the center and variability of the data. ये एक बड़ा important point है, graphical display of the center and variability of data. We discuss a lot about the variability and the center of data in the previous lectures. So central tendency mean averages. हम देखना चाहते हैं कि इसका सेंटर बेसिकली डाटा का कहाँ एग्जिस्ट करता है. बॉक्स प्लॉट इजीली हेल्प अस दैट वेयर इज द सेंटर ऑफ डाटा इन वन एन इम्पॉर्टेंट इंडिकेटर. So we can find out the variability of data by the graphical representation. This is the very important component of this chart. The third point is very important. It is a 5-number summary. It is not a very rocket science. It's not a very complex thing. Simple. It is based on the 5-number theory. हमने अपनी statistics में पढ़ा है minimum value of data is very simple. We discussed in lecture number 10 about the quartiles. So very simple, Q1, Q2, Q3 quartiles and the maximum value of the data. So 5 numbers, if we have the 5 numbers, we can easily draw the box plot. Second thing is that it is not a very complex process. Easily find out the center and if the variability of data can be shown. The fourth point is that the comparison of 2 or more data sets. This is a very key point of the box plot. Along with it is representing our data and variability by the graphical representation. But if we want to compare the 2 or more data sets, and similarly we want to find out the variability status by the graphical representation, so very simple, the box plot will help us to compare our 2 or more data sets. The last point, which is very important for the statistician, for the analyst, it basically try to determine the shape of distribution. हम box plot की ग्राफ को देखते हुए अपनी डाटा की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की शेप को एस्टिमेट कर सकते हैं, गैस कर सकते हैं कि what is the shape of our data. So we move on the next exercise, and by example we can easily understand that what is the box plot. So we have computed some statistics. We will not move on the calculation of the statistics because our earlier lectures can help you easily. How can we calculate the central tendencies and how can you calculate the standard deviation, the variance of the data. So we just discussed the example here, and we have it is data of 20 employees of a factory A. Basically, what is this? We randomly selected the 20 employees of factory A and we asked their salaries, and the data is closed in the 1,000 rupees. The first employee's salary is basically 24,000, and the second employee's salary is 20,000, and then 22,000 and 25,000, 45,000 and so on. So 20 employees का डाटा लिया गया, उनकी सैलरीज ली गई, एंड देन फिर उसके ऊपर हमने देखा कि वी हैव 20 employees, n is 20 and there are so many employees, so we took the random sample of the 20 employees. So, and then their average salary is 23,000, okay, and then their standard deviation is 8. So very simple, we can understand that On average, their salary is deviating 8,000. So it is just the interpretation of these parameters. Okay, so we move on our specific topic. Basically, we are going to discuss the 5 number summary. हम इसी डाटा से इजीली ये 5 नंबर समरी ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं. इस डाटा की सबसे मिनिमम वैल्यू हमने फाइंड की 11, मैक्सिमम वैल्यू हमने फाइंड की 45, एंड वी कंप्यूटेड द क्वार्टाइल. And you can also take the help from the lecture number 10, how can you calculate in the quartile. So similarly, the data is available, so you can apply these techniques on this data and you can find out these numbers. So our Q1 is 19 and Q2 is 22 and Q3 is 25. Be remember, when we are going to calculate the quartile, so you first of all you have to ascend our array or in order to your data. So if you have these 5 numbers and you want to draw the box plots, how can you plot it? Very simple. आपके पास मिनिमम वैल्यू आ रही है 11,000, मैक्सिमम वैल्यू आ रही है 45,000. सो यू हैव टू ड्रॉ एन स्केल. बेसिकली इट इज इनकम डाटा, सो वी ड्रॉ द स्केल ऑफ 0 to 60. मेन इनकम 0, income 60,000, because all the observations will fall in these two ranges, in these 2 points. So this is a 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, and we are going to plot these 5 numbers on this scale. So minimum value is 11, so it is just a little bit forward of 10,000, so we will find out this line. Okay, and then the Q1, quartile 1, is 19, just before the 20,000, so we will mark here. And then the Q2 is after the 20,000, after 2 points to 21, 22, and then we will plot here. And the 25 is a mid in the 20 and 30,000, so the central value is this. So we have marked these 4 numbers. The last one is the 45, maximum salary of this sample. So 45 falls in between, in the center of 40,000 and 50,000, and then we will mark here. So what is this basically? Basically, we have these 5 lines. 5 lines are basically called the hinges. So very simple, we will just to join these 3 lines in this way. Okay, and then we will draw these lines from the center of the boxes. So now our box plot has been drawn. So we think about it, what are these numbers basically? So simple, this is your median Q2, okay, and this is your Q1, this is your Q3, this is the minimum, and this is the maximum. डाटा का सेंटर आपको यहाँ पे मिल रहा है. और डाटा की वेरिएबिलिटी की बात करते हैं. डाटा वेरिएबिलिटी मीन्स दैट, ऑब्जर्व केयरफुली, we have 4 quarters. This is the quarter 1, this is the quarter 2, this is the quarter 3, this is the quarter 4. Are you getting my point? So interquartile range is basically Q3 minus Q1. So this data is interquartile range is basically low, because ये लाइन की जो लेंथ है ये बता रही है कि ये छोटा नंबर है ना, इसको अगर हम यहाँ से भी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. लेकिन द लाइन ऑफ क्वार्टर 4 इज़ वेरी हाई. सो क्वार्टर 4 के अंदर जो वेरिएबिलिटी है वो ज़्यादा है, और क्वार्टर 1 and 3 तक की वेरिएबिलिटी कम है, और क्वार्टर 1 की उससे ज़्यादा है. So this is basically telling about the variability status of our data. We discussed that this line is called the whisker. So हम आगे डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं डाटा की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को. सो विस्कर की जो लेंथ है बेसिकली ये भी डिसाइड करती है कि हमारे डाटा की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन किस तरह की होगी. वी विल डिस्कस later in this lecture. So we are observing that this is the total length of data, but the center is here, and the 50% observation mean quarter 2 and quarter 3, that's mean 50% observation are here, and 25% observation here, and 25% observation are here. So this is the basically variability distribution of your data. So this is called the box plot. Okay, so we discussed the 5-number summary and we plot the box plot. Now we come on the point of the comparison of 2 or more data sets. So there is another factory. This is name is the factory B, and we are going to take the sample of 20 employees from that factory, and again we will calculate all these statistics, and we want to compare basically the box plot of these two factories, factory A and factory B, how the box plots can compare two data sets. So we have taken the sample of 20 employees from the factory B. So we have again the income in the 1,000 rupees. So the first employees was sampled, their income was 35,000, and the second employee's salary was 16,000, and so on. The 20 numbers are there. So आप ये देख रहे हैं कि ये जो दूसरा सैंपल है इसका नंबर सेम है, लेकिन सैलरीज की पोजीशन ये बता रही है कि the last one sample was in the sample, the center was is around the 22,000, and this average salary is 27,000. तो इस सैंपल की जो एवरेज सैलरी आ रही है वो ज़्यादा आ रही है. लेकिन यहाँ की जो 5-number समरी है वो आपकी मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम जो लास्ट एग्जाम्पल के थे वो उससे ज़्यादा है. तो दैट्स मीन अगेन यहाँ पर सैलरी भी ज़्यादा आ रही है, लेकिन यहाँ पर वेरिएशन इन सैलरी भी ज़्यादा आ रही है. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द नेचर ऑफ डाटा. सो मिनिमम सैलरी इन दिस सैंपल इज़ 9,000, quarter 1 20,000, quarter 2 25,000, quarter 3 is 34,000, and the maximum salary in this sample is 52,000. Again, we have this 5-number summary. We can easily draw the box plot here. So minimum number is 9, just before the 10,000. So we plot this hinge here, and so on. We plotted the all hinges, Q1, Q2 and Q3, and maximum value is here. So very simple, same technique. We will join these lines and the two boxes will be produced, and this is basically box. These are boxes, and we will draw the line from the center from these boxes, and these lines are called the whiskers. So this is another box plot of the 20 employees. 20 is the salary of the 20 employees from factory B. So again, this is the minimum value, this is the Q1, this is the median, this is the Q3, and this is the maximum figure. Now we come on this point, the comparison of two or more data sets. So this box plot was drawn from the earlier data was discussed, and this is box plot from the recent example of the factory B. अब इसके कंपैरिजन में हमें नज़र आ रहा है कि इसकी जो लेंथ है डाटा की वो इससे बड़ी है. वेरी सिंपल, बिकॉज उसका मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम बड़ा है. सो वेरी सिंपल, जिसकी लेंथ बड़ी होती है उसकी रेंज भी बड़ी होती है. सो वेरी क्विकली वी ऑब्जर्व्ड हियर द रेंज ऑफ दिस डाटा विल बी हाई देन दिस. ओके, ये क्लोज है. सेकंड थिंग इज़ दैट कि ये डाटा हमारा सेंटर को शो करता है. So we can assume that कि ये जो second data हमारा है इसका center इसके center से आगे है. So that means the factory B की जो average salary है वो factory A से ज़्यादा है. Again these are very helpful for comparison. Okay, fine. And another important comparison is there. The shape of these two box plots are different. Box plot हर दफ़ा एक जैसा नहीं बन रहा है. So because these two boxes basically decided the interquartile range. Interquartile range is another important measure of the variation. So interquartile range of this data is less than this because इसकी boxes की जो variation है वो ज़्यादा है इसके मुकाबले में. So that's mean another observation, the variability in this data is high. One thing. Second thing is that this distribution has a characteristic that the Q1, Q2 and Q3 has the less variability than the quarter 4. जबकि आप यहाँ देखें तो quarter 1 और quarter 4 की variability both are high than quarter 2 and 3. So ये कुछ comparisons होते हैं, these are important for the data analyst, that by which they can find out that which data has the more variability and in which quarter of the data. So, and now we come to the last point. The box plot try to determine the shape of the data distribution. This is a very important point for the statistician, for data analyst. So let us see how the box plots can help to determine the shape. So we come on the last point, which is in which we were discussed that the box plot is basically helps to find out the shape of the data distribution. So we have the 4 different cases. 4 different cases means that we have the 4 different shapes of the box plot. So we can find the different shapes other than these 4, but these are the 4 important cases. If we receive these type of the cases are slightly these cases, so we can estimate, we can guess the distribution of data. The case number 1 is basically the case number A. In the case number A, we are observing that this is the shape of the box plot. What are the characteristics of this shape? Basically, we know that it depends on the 4 quarters. So if this is based on the 4 quarters, quarters mean 25% of data. So 25%, 25%, 25% and 25%, all the quarters are equal. So if the data is in this shape, the length of the all quarters are the same. So basically this data distribution is called the uniform. So we can simply plot here in this way कि इसकी जो डाटा की तमाम फिगर्स हैं वो बराबर आ रही हैं हर क्वार्टर में. तो डाटा जो है वो इस तरह प्लॉट होगा, यूनिफॉर्म. ओके, बट in the second case, the case B, we are observing that each portion is showing the first 1 quarter, the 25%, 25%, 25%, but 50% observation of quarter 2 and quarter 3 are in the center of this data length, number 1. Number 2, they are closed. The quarter 1 and quarter 4 has the variability high, but the 50% observation are closed and in the center. So it's a very well-known shape can be achieved, can be received. This is called the bell-shaped curve. Okay, it's very important. So if we are receiving this type of box plot, so simply we can say that the data distribution look like a bell curve, means symmetric. Okay, the third one is also important, in which the 20% of 25 and 25, then 50% observation are also closed like this. But one whisker is greater, one whisker is lesser than this. So this is a shorter one, this is a greater one. If the whisker is greater on the right side, that means the data distribution will be skewed and this is called the right skewed. Similarly here, 50% observation but not in the center, and the one whisker is greater on the left side, so we will receive a data distribution that is called the left skewed. So it's very interesting concept. I think you will enjoy these learning, and you enjoyed a lot to discuss that the box plot can also be observed, can also be studied in this way as well. So uniform distribution, bell curve. So if we are observing this type of the box plots, so we can judge about the distribution of data. So I hope that you learn something from here, and please keep watching and subscribe our channel for more lectures, for more videos.